Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to do another short class focusing on one pose with some variations. So again, this is great for when you're short on time, but you still want to get some movement in and some stretching. So short but efficient. So we'll get started right away with a quote by William Penn. Time is what we want the most, but what we use worst. I'll say that again, William Penn. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. So, short on time, this is a great way to spend 10 minutes or so of your time working on yourself, making yourself feel better. So we're gonna start. So our pose today is gonna be a wide-legged standing forward fold. So you may need a block potentially. This is very optional, but when we're doing our halfway lift, you might want it for that to bring the floor up to you. But otherwise, you don't really need any props. So we're gonna get started right away. We're gonna bring our left leg out and our right foot will be in toward the groin area here. Sit up nice and tall. Your knee and your right toes point up toward the ceiling. Inhale, get tall, and you can either stay here or go ahead and fold forward any amount. Should feel a nice stretch right along the hamstring, the back of the hamstring there, even in the inner seam of the leg there. You might feel in other places. We all have similar bodies, but we also have lots of differences in our individual bodies. So where you might feel a pose, I might feel a different place. So we're going to go ahead and breathe here for just a moment. We're going to give ourselves a little stretching out here before we come into our standing wide-legged forward fold. This is a short class, so you could always come back to this and stay in some of these poses longer if you like. So come all the way up, and now we're going to bring the right leg back in, and now the left leg is going to come out to the side. Bring that right foot in. Now your left knee and your left toes are pointed up toward the ceiling or the sky. Sit up, get nice and tall, and then exhale and fold forward any amount or stay more upright wherever you feel it. So you might already feel a stretch before you ever forward fold. And if you need to stay more upright, then go for that. Especially if your back is really rounded, you're better to work to stay more upright. So see what you need to work on today. And we're going to breathe here for a few rounds. So I like these short, time-efficient practices because sometimes our day gets away from us, whatever happens, happens, and we just really don't have the time to work in a longer practice. And just taking a little bit of time for ourselves is better than nothing at all. So I like to make these short classes for that very reason, so that you can work them into your day no matter what's going on. So go ahead, another inhale and exhale there. And then bring yourself back up. And now we're going to shoot both of our legs out, but we're going to do this with a little bit of variation. We're going to have the knees slightly bent. So the knees are going to be tracking up and our toes are tracking up. But we're coming into the seated, which is very similar to our standing that we're going to be doing, with the knees bent, just to help a little bit here. So then we're going to fold down the middle any amount, or if your back is really rounded, stay more upright, but fold forward any amount with your knees bent initially. Now, if you're really flexible, you may find that you don't need to do that. If you have really tight hamstrings, you might need to really bring those knees up even more. So you decide what works for you. Come forward any amount. We're going to breathe here for a few rounds. And you're always welcome to straighten those legs out if you like and bring them down so that your knees are now on the ground, or you can keep the knees up. Go with what works best for you and your body today. You could try straightening one leg out at a time. This is also a great way to ease yourself into this pose. You could do a little movement there. That actually feels good. I think I might stick with that for a moment. So breathing here, and again, you could come any amount down. Now, if this is your first pose of the day, you might be really tight, so trying to come further down is going to do more harm than good. We're not trying to hurt ourselves in these poses, but we are trying to get to kind of that edge where we really feel like, okay, that's a good stopping point. And the longer you stay in these poses, the further, and the more you breathe, the further down you may be able to come. So we're keeping this class short, so we're not going to stay in here too long, but you can always pause the video and stay if you'd like. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. And now we're going to come up to stand. So go ahead and bring your knees in and stand up. Shake your legs out for a moment. And then you're going to come into a wide-legged stance here. So you decide how wide you want this stance to be. And my mat's a little bit slippery today for some reason. So find that variation that works for you. And for our first one, we're going to go ahead and just fold forward here. So we've got our legs are nice and wide here. Our toes are pointed to the side of our mat, the front here. And then we're going to do a twist. So bring your right hand or your right fist down to the mat right below your face. And then bring that left arm up and twist yourself to the left. So looking up towards your hand or toward the left in some direction here. So you've got a nice twist going. You can always have a small bend in the knees if you need to. Breathe here. Feeling that opening, that twist. Stretch in the back of the legs. Got a lot going on in a short amount of time. And then go ahead and bring it back down. And now you can place that left hand or fist down in front of your face and then bring your right arm up overhead and look to the right. So you're twisting to the right, looking to the right. Breathing here in this twist. Nice strong pose. Short on time, but you can still get a nice practice in. Bring that hand back down to the ground. And now, this is where you might need the block potentially, but we're gonna come up on our fingertips or our palms, and we're looking straight out in front of us. So our back is fairly flat here. It's almost as if you could hold a tray on the flat of your back. And then you're going to exhale and you're going to fold in any amount. Again, a bend in the knees could be helpful here, especially if your hamstrings are really tight. You're really tight today. Do what you need here. But now we've got a little inversion going on because now our head is down below our heart. Inhale and come back up to a nice flat back again. So if you need that block to bring the floor up to you, go for it. And then exhale and fold in again. Inhale. We're going to do this a couple more rounds. So inhale and flat back, look out in front of you. And exhale, fold in. Inhale, flat back, come out, look out. And exhale, fold in. We'll do one more round of that movement. Inhale, look out. And exhale, fold in. We're going to stay here for just a moment. You can move back to the side if you like, swaying side to side if you want, or stay static. Whatever works for you today. And then inhale, and we're going to come up. And now we're going to turn our heels in. Toes will still be pointing out. And we're going to come up. So now we have our knees are bent. And this has got a couple different names in yoga. It's goddess pose. I've also heard it called horse stance. It's got a couple of different names. But what we're doing here is, I've got some birds over here mad at each other. You can't see them off camera, but they are chattering at each other. So I've got a nice bend in my knees here. My toes are pointed at 45-degree angle, and my ankles are pointed in. So we're going to stay here for just a moment. Again, if you want to, you can move back and forth a bit. You should feel a little bit of heat and fire going on there, especially probably in your quads, maybe in the inner thighs. And from there, go ahead and stand all the way up. And then we're going to come back down to the ground. We're going to repeat those beginning poses. So we're going to come back down. And from our seated position, we're going to just shoot that right leg out. Bring that left foot in. Sit up tall and fold for any amount. And notice if you can come a little bit further down now that we've done some of those other movements. So I can definitely feel a difference. And this is a short class, so if you can tell a difference, that's great. So you can see how even a short amount of time can make a difference. Stay here for another breath. Come all the way back up, switch sides. Left leg out, right leg in. Inhale, get tall, and exhale, fold forward at any amount. So see what you notice. I definitely can tell I'm coming down a little bit further this time around, so. And then inhale, come back up, and go ahead and shoot both legs out. And this can be as wide as you want it to be, so you can bring your legs in closer if you like, or wider out, whatever works for you. And you can go with that bend in the knees again if you'd like, or you can keep them straight. Inhale, get tall, and exhale, and come forward any amount that works for you. You can always stay more upright in these poses. And I highly recommend for those that are really, really, really tight and really rounded in the lower back, you are better to work to stay more upright than you are to try to come down. Over time, you will be able to start to hinge at your hips and come more forward. But sometimes this is a great place to start and be for a bit. So work with what you are working with today and whatever modification that needs to be. Breathe here another round. And then go ahead and bring yourself back up. Bring your knees in. Come to a nice seat here if you like. I hope that these classes that have been helpful, these time saver classes, what I'm calling them, they're nice, short, potent, efficient, effective practices. And they're really nice, especially for those who are new to yoga or learning yoga or want to keep it simple. We're just focused on one pose and we're doing variations of that pose. So thank you again for joining me, and until next time.